Hello and welcome to the very next episode of College Crusaders. If you like what you hear, please consider subscribing to our podcast. We release episodes often and would love to have you as an audience. I'm Roland, and I'll be the DM for our brave band of adventurers. We'll be playing by Basic Fantasy 2nd Edition rules, so grab your torch and your 10-foot pole and prepare to embark on the journey that is College Crusaders. Hello and welcome back. Where we left off, we were stationed at a campsite. You just had a battle with a moose, which had just battled with a bear, and then you put the bear out of its misery, Mimir.
Moose. We also took them to the fire to be consumed.
Right.
Moose.
Everybody begins resting up, getting ready for bed. Sunset is almost completed. It's getting pretty dark. They do set you and a few other guards to take watch. There are 4 wagons, and they recommend at least 2 person per wagon to be set up.
So I'm assuming I just spawned in out of nowhere.
You've been with them the whole time.
There.
And you also have the offer of 50 gold. You were given 25 up front, and you will be given the other 25 when you complete your mission.
Yee.
Alright, so everybody eventually decides to go to bed, besides you guards. Which wagon are you going with, Mimir? First, second, third, or fourth?
I'll go with the second one.
The second one? And then, is it Jaden, right? Yes. Jaden, which wagon are you going with?
Probably third.
Third one? Alright. And then, what's your character's name?
How can you forget?
Oh, yes,
Laid off and my scroll paid off.
yes, laid off. I don't know how I forget that name. Oh, did you hear what, the other character's name is that just joined? His name's Good Morning. Anyway. So, yes, you're around this campfire. The wagons are in a circle around them, paid off, or laid off. Which wagon are you at?
I don't know.
First, second, third, or fourth. Pick whichever one you
I'll
want.
take the fourth.
Fourth, and you pick second, right?
Yes.
All right. Each of you are paired up with another guard that came along, and then the first one has 2 other guards you don't know of. All of you roll a d6.
I feel like we shouldn't have picked all the wagons now.
5.
2.
5, 5, and 2.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The first watch goes by about 3 hours. Not much of interest happens. You, Mimir, roll the d6 again.
2.
2, and you're a human. You hear what sounds like kind of thumping coming from behind you inside of the wagon.
Is there a particular place where that's coming from in the wagon?
You look in and you see a few crates and barrels. It seems to be coming from that large crate you loaded up. Upon closer inspection, you realize it's different than the rest of the crates. The rest of the crates are just wooden that's been nailed in with the lids. This thing has iron bands that are reinforcing the crate on the corners and on the edges of the crate. It also has a strange symbol on it. It's this, what looks like a crescent moon, and then with a harp in between the 2 tips of the moon.
Interesting. Where is the guy who is running the...
He's in a large tent off to the side. I remember his name was Wayne, and he's currently fast asleep. Or at least seems to be. There's no light coming from his tent.
Alright.
Suspicious.
I would like to call a guard over to take my place, and I'm going to go try to talk to him.
There's already a guard with you. There's 2 guards per wagon. So, yeah. He takes... You wake him up for
There you
the
go.
next shift, and he takes your place. Yeah, it looks like that. Alright, you walk over to the tent. You do hear steady snoring coming from inside.
Alright.
Everybody else roll their d6.
Already did.
Again.
Again. 1.
1. Alright, I'll get you guys in a second.
Kind of shout for him to wake up, see if he gets up. And if
You guys hear shouting coming from over near
Not
the merchant's tent, and you're shouting at him, trying to get him to wake up. Just at that time, you also hear a crash in the woods as something large is running through the woods. The ground itself kind of shakes a bit.
Well, everyone's awake.
He is awake. You're not sure if it's by you or by the mini earthquake that's happened. You 2 notice in the woods a large gray-looking creature is trampling through the woods. You see trees being pushed to the sides, and what looks like large white fangs or teeth is protruding from its head out front.
I'm readying my
sheath
bow up.
my axe facing wherever it is from my position.
I'm gonna see if I can. I'm a ranger. Can I technically hide?
Yes, you can.
All right, I'm going to ready up my bow and try to hide somewhere where I can see the.
Alright, roll a d100. The d10 and the one that also looks like a d10.
He's gotta find his the correct dice.
Right. Let's see, that's a that's a 69. You think you're well hidden.
Can I spot him from like a mile away?
You saw him before he went into hiding,
Oh.
and you can kind of see him a bit. You're not sure if you didn't know where he was, you're not sure if you would be able to see him or not.
Okay.
You ready your axe and you turn to face the large
There's
creature,
that.
as eventually you do see a better glimpse of it when there's a gap in the trees.
Yeah.
This thing seems to have what looks like a large tentacle on the front of its face also. Each one of its steps kind of shakes the ground as it lets out a trumpeting roar.
What side of the what wagon?
It's
is it?
to like the northeast side. It's near Laidolph's wagon.
So what wagon? Lovely.
And on the opposite side of the camp as the merchant's tent.
So I'm pretty close to it, aren't I?
You're pretty close, yeah.
Uh,
Both of you make an intelligence check. You're too far away for this. Laidolph, you think?
yeah.
Three.
Plus
Okay.
2 is 5.
5. And
I
then
have
Laidolph?
Wayne do anything, or is he just chilling in his tent?
All this is happening pretty quick. We'll get to him.
14. Nothing else.
You've read about these things. You've never seen one in person. Normally it comes from the eastern area. It's very rarely this close to the coast. It's an olifant.
Oh, okay.
A distant relative to the elephant, but very, very much bigger than an elephant. And their tusks usually go out very far. They're not known for being violent, but they are sometimes used in war due to just how strong they are. You figure that if you don't engage, it probably won't pay you much attention. Alright, the merchant does wake up and he... What in the blazes is going on out there? As he runs over, sees you with your drawn axe looking off to the side, kind of shocked as he looks off, and he sees this olifant trampling through the woods.
Don't. I'm just gonna be like, hey, don't do anything. Pass the message. If we leave it alone, it might just pass by.
Yes, he seems that he knows what it is also, and he kind of reaches over, grabs your wrist, and kind of starts lowering your axe for you, and kind of motions you to be very quiet.
Everyone else? Nope. Don't do anything.
I'm not doing anything.
Yeah, he's the one who knew about it. You don't, however.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm
the
not.
thing is, you're kind of metagaming, knowing the information. Make a wisdom check.
Lovely. My dice suck today, so I'm
Is
gonna.
there any rocks around us?
Why not?
Like just
Probably
small,
very
like
close.
gravel
13.
almost.
Rocks?
Yes.
Plus it.
Yeah.
13.
That's quite a bit. What'd you say?
13.
13. Even though you don't know what it is, you figure something this large, it's probably not a good idea to attack it.
Considering
Especially when no one else is.
Especially since I didn't even want to attack like the moose or even call the moose over.
Right.
Like, I don't
Especially
wanna
since
attack.
you're a bard.
Yeah, I know better.
You've got like this little needle thing.
Mine's
Just
the
a little-
only decent bard that it was.
Just got a little I just got this little thing that just tells me yes, no.
Don't die.
Yes.
That's my whole point.
Yeah,
I can't do anything.
Here is a good strategy, all right? And you guys might want to remember this because it might very well help you in the future. The goal is to deplete the enemy's hit points while keeping your own level. There you go. Don't all applaud at once.
My whole goal is keep the bard alive.
Right.
Like,
All
I
right.
am actively just
A
like
little bit while
hanging
later,
back.
it does eventually wander off into the woods. You can still feel the thump of it as it walks off, and every now and then the trumpeting.
So-
But eventually it does go off, and everybody kind of takes a deep breath simultaneously.
Okay, so the thing is, all the funds don't. I'm assuming. Have you told any of this now?
Yeah.
No. What do
You going to tell him?
Oh yeah, I will. Don't worry.
I mean, he tells you you're too far away. But the merchant tells you about him.
So the thing is, all the funds you said don't go in this area. They're not normally. They're normally way off. So, how did one get here? Because I highly doubt they're going to leave their own area unless it's for something massively important or someone is.
Mimir, make a wisdom check real quick. You're vaguely certain it's
3.
nighttime.
It's a tree off in the distance.
I'm gonna go like over towards where Mimir and the merchant is.
All right. You wouldn't know.
No.
Never mind. So, yeah, he turns and says, "Is that what you were calling me for?"
No. Originally, I was calling you over for the box on the second.
Wagon.
Blanking on what it's called.
Wagon.
It is not happy.
Well, that's what
Which
it was,
box?
What box?
The oddly secured box.
Does it have this symbol on it? And he raises his ring, and it
Oh.
shows the symbol of the moon with the harp in the center of it.
I just kind of nodded at him.
Stay here. As he walks off towards the wagons.
So we are not staying here, I'm guessing. We're just gonna like
Maybe.
and someone just watch him.
So where the tent is there like darkness? Is like there a dark tree area that I could?
Yeah.
To see what he's doing.
Nobody had enough time to light any torches or candles or anything, so the only light is coming from the main campfire in the center. So yeah, there's quite a bit of darkness off this.
All right.
And with the foliage around, not much moonlight's getting through.
I'd like to step off to the woods and try and see what he's going to do.
You're going to follow him like around the edge.
Yeah.
All right, make a dexterity check.
16.
All right.
I would follow, but I have like a -1 for my dex, so.
All right, you travel along. You're not able to go very fast, but you're being very quiet. Careful not to step on any sticks or any crispy leaves as you walk around the edge.
Right.
He doesn't seem to notice you as you go around, and you see him get up into the wagon, looks around, puts his head up to the crate, and then you see him raise his hand towards it. You can't hear anything, but you do see his mouth move a bit as he then lowers his hand
Could I
and
try to?
listens to it again.
Could I try to tell what he's saying by reading his lips?
Make an intelligence check.
18 intelligence. Yeah, just 18.
All right. You can't make out what the words are because the way his lips are moving don't match any words you know of. But you do recognize it. Again, you can't tell what he's saying, but you recognize it as he's casting a spell. As he lowers his hand and gets off the wagon, he kind of talks to the other guard, tells him to keep a close eye on it as he walks back off to his tent.
Alright. I'll go back.
Interesting.
Kind of circle back, but not quite to the tent to make it look like I was just in the woods for whatever reason. Go back for my station.
Alright, yeah, he doesn't question it too much. It's back and he says, thank you. Please alert me if anything like that happens again.
Nod my head.
Alright, and he goes back into his tent.
I'll go back to the wagon.
Yeah, I guess I'm going back to mine.
Alright, you all go back to your wagons. It's about second shift area. How many of you are staying up or letting the other guard take their shift?
I'll stay up.
Yeah.
Stay up, you staying up?
I'll stay up.
And then laid off, you staying up? Alright. Everybody roll D6.
4.
4.
Alright, the next shift goes by pretty nicely. Nothing eventful happens. You are starting to get pretty tired. You've stayed up 2 shifts in a row. The third shift is coming up out of 4. And the other guard recommends you might need your energy the next day, so he recommends you take your sleep and he'll take the next shift.
Yeah.
You take
Yeah.
a rest.
Rest.
Resting.
I'll take a rest. Quick rest.
Does anybody have spells?
No.
No? Alright, never mind then. I was going to say you get your spells back, but okay. You get any... You didn't use any of your rages. Alright. After a little while, you feel very rested, and eventually you feel kind of like heat on your face and arms as you eventually kind of blink a few times and wake up and see the sun kind of streaming through the trees. It seems they let you sleep through the fourth watch also, being that you stayed up for 2 watches, and seemingly nothing eventful happened. Quite a few people are packing up. It seems they let you guys sleep in later than the rest of the guards, since the other guards took turns. But eventually you do wake up pretty naturally. You feel very well rested, and you get up. They ask you to help pack up the wagons as they pack up the tents. They head off again. You guys staying with the wagons you were on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, sure.
You start heading down the road. It's early morning. Everybody roll a D... No, just one. Elect a new leader since Good Morning is not here. So all in favor of Mimir, raise your hand. Nobody. All in favor of Jaden, raise your hand. We got 2 votes. All in favor for Laid-Off, raise your hand. Does that count as a vote, Laid-Off? Alright, we got 1 vote. Alright. So, Jaden. I can't remember that name to save my life. Jaden, you are the leader of the group. Roll a D12.
No, 12.
Actually, no, a D12, sorry. 2. You're able to cover about 20 miles today by a wagon. It is starting to get a lot cooler. You feel a big breeze coming across you as you seem to be getting closer to the coast. You smell the salt in the air and the seagulls flying overhead slightly irritate you. As you continue on, eventually it is becoming evening again. This is the 3rd day of your travels. You come to an area, and the cavern leader decides that being the most experienced of the group, taking care of the Widowmaker and all, he will leave it up to you guys of where you will camp for the night. There's a few areas nearby. There's one large clearing in a field. There is the woodland area right past it. And then to the west, you can see the shoreline in the distance.
So the biggest question is, what's the most defendable?
Well, it's the forest. I can hide in the shadows and trees, see if I can get some snipers.
But then we get to worry about the bears and the moose as well as...
The moosin.
The mooses.
Many much moosin.
Many of mooses have fight.
The shore might be the most, because really only can come from one side, but you still have creatures in the ocean
Yeah,
at
I was
night.
about to say.
Yeah. So I guess the clearing is the clearing surrounded by trees.
The clearing has a wood area off to the side. There's maybe about a mile worth of clearing long, and then about half a mile wide before the woods begin.
Okay, so
It has moderately tall grass. It comes up to about your knees. It's a very beautiful looking field, especially in this sunset era where the sun kind of hits the grasslands
As
just right.
descriptive as that is, I feel like you're trying to get us to stay there.
yeah, like that's incredibly.
I was going to describe everything, but I mean,
Oh.
sure if you want.
I feel like maybe the clearing is far closer to
Listen,
trees than
I
we can.
personally am hoping you stay in the forest so I can not have to worry about finding so many stock videos to put in the thing. I can just keep it. But sure, go ahead, whatever you want.
We could,
Yeah, the open
I
would
think
probably be best.
yeah, and if we put it like as close to the trees as we can, then it's less of like a
So your videos will be half woods, half plains.
like all around thing, and more of like, you know what I'm trying to say.
And then we could trim up the grass around where
Yeah.
it would be.
Yeah.
Set it on fire, just light it on fire.
Maybe not.
Aww,
Believe it or not, forest fires are good for the
environment.
environment.
Yeah, control.
Not that we'd know that back then. Probably
Right.
not. All right, so we're setting up in the. All right.
Yep.
All right, you go off to the field. Even though you were in charge of picking location, you're not in charge of setting up. He likes to have things set up in a very specific and orderly way. The tents are set up in a circle around, with the wagons in a circle around the fire. Again, it begins getting dark. You are supplied your rations, which they're not as good as personal rations store bought. They're kind of like rations that come in a large barrel and then divvied out to people. But they're decent. It's good, and every now and then you get a warm cooked meal. Just everybody puts their rations together in a large pot over the fire, and you get soup.
Would there not still be left over from the moose and bear?
They decided it wasn't a good idea to carry that with them because the smell would attract predators.
I feel like you.
That's why you cook it.
Cooked meat also attracts predators.
Then hide it under everything.
They figured it was too much trouble.
Better hope there's not any rabbit meat.
So you continue along. You eventually do get everything finally set up, eat your rations, and dusk starts coming. You guys sticking with your caravans, or are you trading wagons?
I think I'm gonna join Mimir on the second wagon.
All right, you staying with the second wagon? Laid off, what you doing? Staying on the fourth wagon. All right. So it's Jaden and Mimir. Good gravy.
I thought mine would have been hard to remember.
I don't know. You just have a Mimir face.
I love the fact that you managed to remember Judy quicker than you managed to remember Jaden, and it's probably because they're both J names and Jaden came after Judy.
I don't know. Anyway, so you two get on the wagon and you're able to take your own shifts, whereas you have to share with somebody.
Alright.
All right. Who's taking the first shift?
Okay.
You can, and then are you taking the first shift?
Yeah, I might as well.
All right.
I'm asleep apparently.
Everybody roll d6, other than Jaden.
Yay! Play it off. 6. 5.
5.
Mimir, you again hear something coming from the crate behind you, but it's not thudding anymore. Now you kind of hear sounds like whimpering. Every now and then you hear like a deep breath in.
Well, now I'm starting to think there's something in it.
We'll wake you up to see what you think about this.
Okay. So I'm guessing I hear it too.
When he tells you about it, it takes a little bit for you to kind of come to your senses. You just fell asleep. But eventually you're able to focus, and you put your ear up to the crate, and when you listen closer, it sounds like somebody crying.
I'm getting very, very bad flashbacks.
Flashbacks are continuing.
This happened about the same time last night.
Was it around when the olive went? I'm guessing it was because you were
Right
already
before.
over there.
It was right before that happened, and I told Wayne, he came over, looked like he cast a spell on it, and it stopped for the rest of the time.
So what are we thinking? So I'm thinking there's someone in there.
Yes.
So the bigger
But that
question.
doesn't mean we should open it.
Yeah, because it could be still dangerous. You said Wayne told you to always tell him, right? What if I stay by the camper and pretend to be asleep, and I can try and listen to what Wayne says when he casts a spell? Maybe I can try and figure out what spell it is.
Yeah. Before we do that, see if you can maybe talk to whatever's in there.
Yeah. So I'm kind of just like to whatever's in there, just kind of like, hello?
Yeah, the crying kind of quiets a little bit, and you can hear almost sounds like sniffling, and but you don't get a response.
Let's see what
Are
else.
there any holes? in
Yeah,
the
like, can you
box?
like breathe?
The boards are next to each other. Normally, they're interlocking, but these ones have a very, very thin crack between each one of the boards.
Do you have a name?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
And you hear what sounds like a little girl's voice coming from inside.
Oh, that hurts my heart.
Oh, that's gonna be evil. Like standard.
yeah.
This is standard evilness right here.
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
I don't remember.
You don't remember your name?
Mm-mm.
I try to slide it like a piece of like cracker or something through.
The crack is very thin. The cracker won't fit through.
Have you?
It's almost thin enough to put a needle through.
Is there any spot at all?
Mm-mm. This thing looks like it was a very, very well-made crate.
Is there any kind of markings on the box? Besides
Other than the
moon and the heart?
moon and the harp, no.
Do you?
Make a wisdom check.
I'm gonna try and keep talking to her.
All right.
11.
Who
12.
Who are you? 12. I don't know. Is there anything else?
I'm someone who's here to watch over everything, and kind of wanted to know if you were okay. Like, do you remember? Do you know what happened to end up in this box? I'm trying to.
I remember going to sleep, and then when I woke up, there was this man, and then I fell asleep again. And then I was in here.
What did the man look like?
He had a beard. I don't remember much else. He didn't have much hair on his head.
Is Wayne bald?
He's not bald, but he's balding.
He's balding. Does he have a beard?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so general theory, Wayne. Have you eaten anything? Like, have they given you food since you woke up in here?
Not for a while. I don't know how long I've been in here.
Well, it's at least been
I keep falling asleep.
it's been at least a couple of
Casting
nights. I would
sleep spell.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess sleep spell. Alright, so now the big question is, do we want to risk this being an actual girl and risk our job? Or do we want to risk this being a creature who's a really good mimic?
Or we could interrogate Wayne.
We could. I feel like the best way to do this would be to subtly interrogate him. Like just. See, 'cause we didn't.
Alright, I'll go back to his tent
Alright.
and get him up.
You guys talking about this
Yeah.
to each other?
Yeah.
Just send another something to me.
Oh, he'll make me go to sleep again.
We're gonna try and get to the bottom of this, okay? We're working on getting to the bottom of this. We want to get all the information
We're
first.
heading to Wayne's tent.
Alright, you start heading off. You head over to his tent again. It's dark, and you don't hear snoring coming from inside, but you do hear breathing.
I just kind of, not super loudly, but I'd try to
Oh.
call for him loud enough he would hear.
I'm gonna slip out of the wagon so that I don't get caught
Alright.
to the little girl and kind of
Um,
pretend to be asleep.
You call out. Eventually, you do hear a grunting as he gets up. So, it better not be as late as it feels. As he gets up and walks out, says, "Yes, what is it?"
We're having the same issue once more.
With the box.
Yes.
Very well. Stay here, please. He starts walking over towards the wagon. You are out of the wagon. You're kind of standing guard next to it.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to act
Well,
like
yeah, no, I'm stabbed. I'm trying to. I'm like,
It's too late.
listen.
He's
Ow.
already on his way.
He probably would catch me if I would pretend to be asleep immediately.
He walks over and he comes up to you and he says, "Excuse me, could you go talk to Mimir over there?"
Sure.
Thank you.
I'm gonna walk as slow as possible.
Yeah, you see him walking over to the wagon. He kind of opens the back and tries to throw a leg up into it, and he stops as he goes and jumps up into it again.
Did he get up there perfectly last night?
He wasn't able to see him
Oh,
get
okay.
into it. He just saw him once he was already in there. You see him kind of look around and puts his ear up to the crate. And about that time, he kind of looks over and sees you slowly walking away. Yeah, kind of looks. He looks like he's trying not to draw too much attention that he's looking at you, but
I'm just like,
it's blatantly obvious.
yeah.
anyone
It
looking
is.
is gonna be like, what the?
It's like this.
Don't look now. Okay, you can look, but don't make it too obvious.
Yeah.
Am I close enough that I would be able to see?
You can see him. You can't see any details like what his mouth is doing or what his hands are doing, but you can see his form. You do see him against the thing, and he kind of knocks it a few times, and you see him say something. You're close enough to where you can see his mouth move, but not accurately enough to read his lips.
Dang it. The beard would make it difficult. Anyway.
And then he kind of jerks back for a second, puts his hand on top of the box, and you see his mouth move a little bit. And then when he finishes, you kind of see him go, like he just got very exhausted.
So
And he turns around and you see him, his arm's kind of shaking a bit as he jumps off the thing and starts walking back towards the tent.
When he gets back, I would like to speak with him.
Alright, he gets back pretty soon, about 30 seconds in. Laid off. Roll a d6.
2.
2. Alright. Nothing eventful happens this shift.
It's also 3.
Alright, he gets back and he begins talking to you. He says, thank you. And again, if anything should happen, please get me. I'll try to
be
keep
back.
in mind that I told you. Gonna be honest, when you woke me up the second time, I had half a mind to kick you out, but I'll try to keep that in mind.
Understood. Would you mind explaining to me what is with the box?
I'm afraid I'm not allowed to do that. I paid you to transport, not to question. And if that's all, I'll bid you good night. And as he turns around and
Grab his shoulder.
Oh,
Turn him
God.
around. Now, just because you pay me to transport does not mean that I have worries and wares of others.
I understand. We are transporting something quite volatile. We're transporting it to some people of interest in Ocean View. I'm afraid that's all I'm allowed to say.
Whatever you're transporting sounds like a little girl.
She spoke to you.
I mean,
So you know there's a person in
you
there.
know there's someone in there.
I'm afraid I myself do not know much. I know that there is a creature in there who seems to warp the minds of those who she speaks to, but even I am not wary enough to open it.
Yeah.
I will take it to the people who it belongs to
Okay.
in Ocean View. I recommend that you stay out of this. And with that, we will end for today. See how everything goes next time.